guys, it's Boxing Lowdown and I'm back here with another video. Now, let's speak about defining the term robbery. Like, let's define what robbery actually is, because obviously after Callum Smith and John Ryder, there was a lot of fans screaming robbery, a lot of people upset with the decision. Me personally, I think that more people were upset with the actual scorecard regardless of the decision. I think that it was a close fight and it could have gone either way really. I did have John Ryder taking it, but I wasn't that much upset that Callum Smith took it. I think that the main anger and frustration from everybody after that fight was because John Ryder obviously was, he was the guy that wasn't expected to win. He was going to Liverpool to fight Callum Smith, who was the hometown favourite. Everything was in Callum Smith's favour. And us over here in the UK, we tend to favour the underdog. We tend to kind of root for the underdog, especially if they're doing well, especially if they're punching above their weight. And that was what many people saw John Ryder doing against Callum Smith, because not many people were giving him a chance to win the fight. I think that the anger really stemmed from that fact and the fact of the scorecards from the judges. Now, one of them in particular, the 117-111 for Callum Smith, was an utterly ridiculous scorecard, which is where people just scream robbery. They're just like, robbery everywhere. So, I think that is where people are really angry, and I understand it. Like, I totally understand it. Watching as a neutral, I thought that John Ryder did enough to win. Thought Callum Smith could have got it by a round, but I did have John Ryder shading it by a round or so. That doesn't mean it's a robbery though. Like, that decision is not a robbery. The scorecard was terrible. Let's not get it twisted. The scorecard was bad. However, robbery, in my opinion, is, robbery was Lennox Lewis against Evander Holyfield. Like, robbery was Roy Jones Jr. in the Olympic final against Park Si-hun. Like, that is what you call a robbery, where it is utterly ridiculous to announce the winner as anybody else. Tim Bradley against Manny Pacquiao, that is a robbery. But in a close fight where the decision doesn't really go the way that you expected it to, that's not a robbery. So Triple G and Canelo 2, that wasn't a robbery. Like, people thought Triple G won, Canelo got the decision, not a robbery, because Triple G didn't dominate that fight in any sense of the word. So I think that we do need to, a lot of boxing fans need to really, know what a robbery actually is and what it means. If somebody is winning like 12 rounds out of 12, dominated the fight, landed more punches, the more solid punches, the more clear punches, and outboxed their opponent, showed better ring generalship over the 12 rounds, and they still didn't get the decision, that is a robbery. But if if it's a close fight, for example, and it's back and forth action, but the guy that you thought won didn't get the decision, that's not a robbery. And John Ryder versus Callum Smith, although it rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way, it wasn't a robbery. It's not a robbery. Like, robbery actually means where a fighter has dominated the fight throughout and didn't get the decision. Now, do you honestly believe that John Ryder dominated Callum Smith over the 12 rounds? He didn't. Callum Smith definitely won his fair share of the rounds. It's just a scorecard that I think rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way. But it's important, before we actually label robbery and call any fight a robbery, that we know what a robbery actually is. So if you want to actually see a robbery, like I said, go back and watch Manny Pacquiao versus Tim Bradley, number one. Go back and watch Roy Jones Jr. in the Olympics against Park Si-hun. Those are the type of fights where you can say that is an actual robbery. So, I think it's important to define that term and just be a bit easy as to where we're using that term nowadays, because any fight that doesn't go your way to how you score it, it's not necessarily a robbery. So, I just thought I'd lay that out there for anybody. Let me know what you guys think is a robbery and what you don't, but I just thought I'd lay that out there because a lot of people on my Instagram and on my Twitter feed were, saying it was a robbery and whatnot, but again, it's important to understand what the term actually means. So there is a lot of it going on. It does still happen in boxing today. Unfortunately, it can be a corrupt sport, and it is frustrating, because at the end of the fight with Callum Smith and John Ryder, I said to my friend who I was watching the fight with, I said to him that I know that this is going to go to Callum Smith's way. Like, it's a close fight, it's in his hometown, he's going to get the decision. And I think many people thought that as well. And just the scorecard, I think, showed some signs of corruption there. I mean, it's a terrible scorecard. And I think it's important that scorecard gets looked into. But the judge, Terry O'Connor, I mean, he was refereeing next week, I think. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. But I just thought I'd give you guys a quick update as to what I think a robbery is. If you disagree with me, then let me know in the comment section below as to what you think a robbery is. And give me some examples as well of some fights. So, yeah, drop your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Catch you on the next one.